People deluded. Fridays Q&A day. Let's crack on. Before I crack on, people, each and every question is appreciated. Without these questions, I couldn't do a Q&A. I'm not one of these saddos on YouTube like you probably see asking themselves questions. I'll never do that. So all I can do is say thank you to you lot that ask me the questions frequently, sporadically, things unrelated to football, related to Arsenal, all sorts of questions. Thank you very much. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and as you see, it means the world to me. But without wasting any more of your time, let's crack on and give you what you want. Antonio Banks has asked, before I go on, big up yourself. You're always asking questions and you're always on this thing. Nothing goes unnoticed, my guy. But you've asked me for my thoughts on Rodrigo de Paul, the Argentinian player. I believe he's recently been called up. Admittedly, my knowledge is quite capped on him. I believe he's 24 years of age. He's a decent player, but you know them ones you ain't really been preing a player enough, or you don't watch a player enough to realistically scrutinise him. So I'd have to go and probably watch his games and stuff and build up an actual informed opinion on him. But apart from he's technically very decent. He's got a good link-up play. Apart from that, with his teammates, I don't really have an opinion, my guy, and I'm sorry to disappoint you. So yeah, Brent said, big up deluded, big up yourself, Brent, man. We've got a lot of number 10s in the squad right now. Do you think we can use anyone as a central midfielder, similar to what Wenger did with Santi and what Pep is currently doing with David Silva? I'm so happy you asked this question, my guy, and in short, yes, yes, and yes. I've made videos about this. The first man that come to my head as I was reading that question, Mesut Ozil. He can, you see him used on the flanks typically, him and Mkhitaryan, and Mkhitaryan does his thing on the flanks. But my thing is, if we move one of them out of there, we free up a position for somebody else, whether that's a dazzling winger or that's someone that can give us something a bit more on the flanks. Because Ozil and Mkhitaryan, they do their dirt on the flanks, they're creative players. But by the same token, Mkhitaryan and definitely Ozil, they want to get on the ball. Their strengths are creative base. To get on the ball, typically you have to go into central areas. And that's good for us because it shows they want the ball. But our fullbacks don't really attack the space. Obviously, Monreal and Bellerin get forward, but it's not like Walker and them and there. It's essentially wingers. So what I'm getting at by that is you can see the weakness, how we can be targeted on the flanks. Specific to, back to the question you've actually just asked me, I think Ozil could probably do it. I'd say Iwobi could probably do it. By the same logic, Mkhitaryan, I guess, and I'm probably missing one more person out. But I believe Iwobi's position is that he can excel on the flanks, and you should be able to play a number of positions. He can excel on the flanks. The 10 is his thing. I believe deeper in his career, or even as he gains more experience than he already has, he could play in the deeper midfield role. Because typically a couple of seasons ago, when it was Santi, Iwobi, and Ozil, Iwobi was dropping deep and allowing Ozil to stay further up the field. By the same token, Ozil drops deep in a lot of games and he's not really... He's getting older, so he might have to rework his game. And I do believe potentially Torreira, Ozil, and I don't know, Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Xhaka, or any midfield trio you want could be something very good. I mean, Ozil controls games, but imagine controlling it from deep. And like I said, playing Ozil deeper could free up another position. The only issue with that now is because... it's already a tough balancing act giving these central midfielders at Arsenal a decent amount of game time, in that you've got young Maitland-Niles is going to need minutes. Guendouzi's been getting minutes earlier on, but as the season's gone on, kind of faded. Xhaka is almost untouchable within the side. You've got Torreira. You've got Aaron Ramsey. So that's 5 players already. Ozil, like I said, could play there. Mkhitaryan can play in the Ramsey role. So there's around 7, 8 midfield players that we're trying to juggle. So if we move Ozil off the flanks and don't put him in the 10 role, it could present some issues, but we want the best players on the team. So that's a good question, my guy, man. Thank you very much, man. Pot Noodles asked me, are you going to watch Wilder versus Tyson Fury? If so, who do you think is going to win? Big up Wilder, he's my guy. I got a lot of time for Wilder, but it's a UK thing. Fury going to bang him. Fury is going to bang him. If I'm harsh on Wilder, he's beat some credible names, but the majority of people he's smacked up are bums. Like, he's just smacking up bums. Man, people rate him because he's got American accent and he fights. He fights like he's in Street Fighter or something like that. Fury gonna bang him, man. Bring this guy to the UK. Let him show our guy. UK, we're not just about tea and crumpets. Fury gonna bang him. Show him the thing. But yeah. Bellows asked, who's been your player of the month for September? I'd probably say between Iwobi, Lacazette. Socrates has been injured of late, but maybe Socrates in there. Torreira, of course. I'd give it to Lacazette. Lacazette, but special shout outs to the rest of them. You've also asked me, would you pick Timothy Weah or Pedro Pellegrin, the Monaco lad, as your future striker for Arsenal? I got a lot of time for both. Pellegrin, Henry must be licking his lips at one of the young players out there with scope to become a serious superstar, helping him mold and develop himself as a striker. I would take him without a doubt. My bias is already towards him, but Weah's a bad boy in this thing as well. I mean, look at his dad. Like, if you're offspring of the real Weah, no disrespect, it's a madness. And any friend of Weah, however you want to say his name, that's a friend of Wenger, can come and play for the club, man. It's a link up. DNM asks, forgive me, I'm not trying to hot you up on that, but I don't really get the question. You've asked, if a club scouted you, with decent pay, would you go with them? Assuming you're asking me, if the money's right, would I scout for a team? I mean, I scout for free in my bedroom just talking about players. It's not even scouting, I'm just talking about players. So, of course, my guy, without a doubt, like, it's not a silly question, but if you know me and you've been watching DG, you know I would jump at that, to be fair. Any scouts of any clubs that want to rock with the best and them things there, then come. Eshen's asked me, forgive me for mispronouncing your name, would you take Hakim Ziyech to replace Aaron Ramsey? Two slightly different players in my opinion, but yeah, I would, to be fair. Maybe not to replace him, but just outright come to the club. I like him. I like how he's got an eye for an assist. I like how he's very creative. Could play with his head up a bit more, but he's improved that in the last 18 months or so. So yeah, my guy, without a doubt. Igal's asked, how many teams would Bellerin walk into in the Premier League / Europe? Within the top 6, probably. I wouldn't say walk in, but he could fight Valencia for a spot at United purely because Valencia's looks to be declining, and obviously when Delort plays, that's another conversation. But then, I mean, I don't necessarily rate Trippier. I think he's improved. I think he's doing his thing. He's in good form. He's good going forward. But defensively, he's a bit suspect. Something my Spurs massive that I speak to on a regular basis agree with me on. But it's pick your poison. I mean, they're both as necessarily as bad as each other. But I love Bellerin, man. I want Bellerin to stay at Arsenal his whole career. I've got a lot of time for Bellerin, to be fair with you. So there's probably that. Just on the basis he's linked with Barcelona, I suppose he could play there, but I'm reaching. I don't think he can walk in there. I don't think there's a top side Bellerin walks into, in my humble opinion. That doesn't mean that I think he's a bad player. I like Bellerin a lot. I just don't think he walks into any top side. Yeah, there isn't no top side. He can't play for City. Arsenal fans, we were very shameless to say that Bellerin can talk to Kyle Walker because he can't. Liverpool, there's Trent Arnold. I mean, I suppose he could compete, but Trent Arnold's a bit more tidy in terms of delivery and things like that. So I wouldn't say he walks into any side necessarily. In fact, he doesn't walk into any top 6 side or top side, to be fair with you, off the top of my head. So yeah. Finally, Rax has asked, what's your thoughts on these Twitter accounts? Sorry, let me start again. I messed that up. Rax asks what's your thoughts on these Twitter accounts watching DJ on the sly and claiming they were the first to know about a player when we're linked? To be honest, a lot of people have been DMing me these things for a while now. I mean, I'm not the only one who knows about any player, because if you've got the internet, if you watch football as much as I do, or claim to watch football as much as I do, you see these things. I don't see every player. Many players go over my head, but I like to think I've built up a reputation, or you guys know I'm never a liar. I only talk about the real stuff. I've gained a good reputation, like you said, man. People, clearly, we live in a day and age where journalists, and what I actually hate myself, them scouting profiles and scouting Twitter accounts who just name every teenager as a wonder kid just so they can say they know him first. But what can I say, my guy? These people clearly fans, man, and if people are copying and fanboying, then you must be doing something right, my guy. And the real, like yourself, can obviously identify when people are being phony in this thing. So yeah, you've also asked me, never, but you've also asked me, do you reckon you could last 90 minutes playing at a Premier League ground? Maybe if I got fit and was on their fitness programs for a number of months, then yeah. But if you're asking today, jump in a Premier League game, I'm getting ripped. I would fight, I would use passion, I would try to kick up everybody and try to give the fans some passion, but I have never lasted 90 minutes. Nowhere near as fit enough for that. So yeah, I'm never going to gas you up. I'll try my hardest and I would relish it if I was ever given the opportunity, but that's a myth, my guy. But what can I say, people? Thank you for the questions, man. It means the world that you continuously ask me these things, man. And yeah, man, please enjoy the rest of your Friday, wherever you are, however you're watching this, man, and stay safe. Guys, deluded, I'm out.